What's up guys, I'm Nico of CamCrunch, and I'm going to start doing some more of these sort of vlog type videos for you, just answering a few basic questions and tackling a few topics that I find interesting, because the big project that I'm working on right now is redoing the CamCrunch website. I want it to be a bigger resource for a lot of beginner and intermediate photographers to go to. So if you want to stay updated on what's happening with the website, if you want to know when that is released, you can join the CamCrunch newsletter. I'll have that linked in the description box down below. If you join that newsletter, you will also get these videos early in an email where I'll have all the details and all the stuff that accompanies these videos for you. So go check that out. I'll have that linked in the description box down below and somewhere on this video as well. And let's get to this video. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about shooting with one focal length for an extended period of time. When I picked up my Canon 6D, I picked up two lenses to go with it. I picked up two prime lenses. They were the 24mm f2.8 with image stabilization, that's from Canon, and also the Canon 40mm Pancake, that's also a 2.8 lens with STM. And I really only stuck to one of those lenses, and that was the 24mm f2.8 with image stabilization. And that lens has been glued to my 6D for probably 95% of the time that I've had my Canon 6D. And I've learned a lot by shooting with just that one lens for most of my pictures. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video sitting on this chair, and I talked about how limitation can help you become more creative. And one of the ways in which you can limit yourself is by limiting the equipment that you can use. And that's really what I did by shooting with just one focal length for almost 2 years. I shot with a 24mm, which is sort of a wide angle lens, and people typically use wide angle lenses for scenery shots, landscapes, and those sort of things. But I chose to use it for everything. So not only did I shoot scenery with it, I also did portraits, street photography, and all sorts of stuff. Now I'll admit that there were times when I really wanted to grab a different lens. And some of those times I did, some of those times I wanted a little bit longer of a focal length, maybe a little bit more background blur, so I grabbed something like the 50mm. But most of the time I chose to stick with the 24mm f2.8 and just figure my way out using that one lens, just trying to get a good picture and just forcing myself to look around. Because I only had that 24mm focal length, I was forced to walk around subjects, get closer, sometimes get a little bit farther from them, just to get a good shot with that lens. And now when I pick up a 24mm lens, it feels just right. I can shoot anything with it. I feel confident shooting anything with it. Now I know I won't be able to get every single shot. For example, if I'm shooting sports, I can't get a tight close-up unless I walk onto the field and go really close to the athlete or something like that. But I know I can get a good shot of a sporting event using that 24mm focal length. And if I do have to get close, then it's something that I'll have to do with that lens, and it's something that I feel comfortable doing with that lens now that I've used it for almost 2 years. So now, shooting with that lens for almost 2 years, I do feel like I'm a lot better. I do feel like I'm a lot more creative with how I choose to see things. I feel like I automatically see things from a new perspective right away. Not just how I see it with my eyes, but I can sort of see with that 24mm focal length right away. So that is the first reason why I recommend shooting with one focal length for an extended period of time. The second reason why I recommend shooting with one focal length is because it sort of creates unity between all of the photos that you take. When people build portfolios or show their work, sometimes people look for something to unify all their work, something to really show who they are through their work, or what kind of work they like to produce. They try to look for something that ties everything together. And that could be through maybe a subject matter that you like shooting, or it could be a certain theme that surrounds your work. But one thing that I found through shooting with one focal length is that even if you don't shoot all of the same subject all the time, or like you don't have a theme to your work, by shooting with one lens, it sort of unifies your work in that when people look at your work, it's like seeing all the images through one eye. If you look at all my photos with my 24mm lens, they have the same angle of view, they have the same perspective, and so it's like, someone just captured what they were looking at, and they did that for all of their shots. And that's how I feel with my work today when I shoot with a 24mm focal length. A lot of the shots, they just look like, they're together even though they're not really the same thing. It looks like someone's just looking at different things and capturing them. And that's something you can choose to do when you shoot with one focal length. But going back to my previous point, it is a lot harder to just shoot with one focal length because you do have to find your way around things and you have to sacrifice certain shots that you might not be able to get. But this is one of the things you get in return. You get sort of a unified view to all your work. And shooting with one focal length is not the best option, but it is one option that you can take. So overall, I'm happy that I chose to stick to one focal length for a very long time. It's, it's something that I actually enjoyed doing, and as you can see, it's something that I learned a lot from. But moving forward, I do want to try new lenses, but I'm going to try to take the same approach I did with a 24mm lens. Right now, I have the 35mm f2 lens with image stabilization on my 6D, and this is a lens that I've had on this camera for a couple weeks now. I took it out to one place that I visited, and I want to take it to a few more places before doing my full review. It's a great lens. I'll have it linked in the description box down below. And yeah, this is a lens that's going to be stuck on my camera for a while until I really learn how to use this 35mm lens. Now the 24mm was a lot easier for me because I do like the wide angle perspective. Before I was using 24mm, I was shooting with a 17-40 with it at 17mm almost all the time. So it's like I shot with one focal length. But this 35mm is a little bit tighter. It's a little bit too tight for what I'm comfortable with. So this is a nice challenge for me. And hopefully, again, I get even more creative with my shots by shooting with this lens. So that's it for this video. If you guys found it helpful, definitely like the video and go check out the accompanying blog post, which I will link to somewhere on this video or down below in the description box. And I'll see you guys in the next one.